Welcome back, my wisdom walkers. And for those of you who are new viewers, I certainly thank you for visiting my channel today. This video is going to be just a little bit off course, and that's because of the events that occurred in the United States last Wednesday that proved to have an impact worldwide. Now, those impacts were, of course, some very positive and some very negative. But that's what we have in the world today. Not all of us will ever always agree on every issue, every thought, or every belief system. So trust me, I understand that. What I wanted to say is I couldn't let this week be business as usual. Now, my plan was to talk about courage and define that as doing the right thing regardless of the possible outcomes. And I'm going to give some examples of when I was able to do that, but not in this video. In fact, I'm going to do that in my next two videos, but they won't be this week. Let me explain why. I decided not to allow this week to be one where you're doing business as usual. We have all of us, become desensitized to our school shootings, our mass shootings, theater ones. We see the names float across the screen. We send out prayers and we try to cope with everything as it unfolds. But part of the problem is the next week we go on as business as usual, doing everything the way we've always done and just waiting for the next headline to pop. There are some instances in life where we think about life in before and after terms. What I mean by that is people remember what life was like before 911 and after 911, before the Oklahoma bombing and after the Oklahoma bombing, before COVID and after COVID. And I get it, we're still dealing with the repercussions of after COVID. My company is one that sent us all home in 2020. We're now in 2025 and we're all still working from home. But what I wanted to say is the news, once I found out, for some reason had an unexpected impact on me. And I simply wanted to take some time to reflect and to think about the state of the world, not just the state of the United States, or not what's going on in London or France or any of the other countries that we deal with and are partnered with or may not be partnered with. I'm talking about the mental state of all of us as a species. Because if we don't take time to reflect on that, there's no telling where we all will be in the next few years. And what we do and how we think and how we act will determine that for all of us. So that's the one thing that was kind of hard for me to internalize. Now, you guys all know that I consider myself a perpetually optimistic person, but there are some things that occur in life when you're like, maybe optimism isn't the way to go. And I get it. Trust me, I don't want to go down that route. And I certainly don't want to think like that. But it can be challenging when we're doing all that we can as individuals. But overall, it just seems like everything is out of control. It's kind of challenging even to still talk about these things. But again, I just wanted to take some time to go inward and to reflect on where do I go from here? And then collectively think, where do we go from here? Because none of us live in a bubble. We're all on the same planet. There's no place else for any of us to go. I mean, I'm talking planets here. Of course, you can go to other countries and other states, but I mean, this planet itself is just what we have. So, my challenge to many of you out there is no matter where you are currently in your life, no matter the obstacles or challenges you may be facing individually, or how the news of what has occurred has impacted you one way or the other, to simply take a moment to inhale and a moment to exhale, a moment to clear your thoughts, clear your mind, and give yourself clarity on what you believe and how you want to present yourself to the world. So take a moment to inhale and exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Try to gain some clarity and a sense of purpose of what you're here to do, why you're here to do it, and how you can go about uh, completing what you feel you've come here to do. And I know that it can be devastating to look up and see some things that maybe you haven't quite accomplished in life that you would like to do or are still striving to achieve. But that's where the courage comes in, and you have to release fear. We've all been bombarded with fear over the last 15 to 20 years. Fearing our neighbors, fearing our kids, fearing authorities, fearing police. Fear seems to be a motivating factor for most of the things that many of us do. We need to learn to release that. And we also need to learn to begin to stand up and speak out for what we individually believe in. We have to understand, you guys, that we really are truly and genuinely in this together. We'll either all swim or we'll either all sink, but it'll be something that we do collectively as a result of what we do individually. So, yes, I did want this video to be just a little bit different. And you guys who are familiar with me, meaning my wisdom walkers who visit my channel regularly, know that I do indeed walk the walk that I'm talking, okay? So, with that being said, as I'm asking everyone to take a moment to go inward, to reflect, to think, to gain clarity, I will not be dropping my videos Thursday and Saturday. I normally do them on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but at this juncture and at this point, I'm going to take my own advice and not look to do videos for this Thursday and this Saturday. So this will be the first time since I've been on YouTube that I've had an interruption in my schedule because I'm prompt, professional, and I do everything the way that it should be done. So again, this is the first time, and it probably will be the last that I'll have that type of an interruption. But it's needed for me to reflect, to breathe in, to exhale, and to get more clarity on where I'm headed in life. And with my upcoming retirement, thinking about how I would like to have an impact on the world as well. And don't get me wrong, I know with my books and my speaking engagements and my motivational speaking that I've done over the years, I have been able to make a difference, not just in my life, but in the lives of the people that I was able to meet over the years. But I want to do more and be bolder and really do some of the things that I have always wanted to do as well. So, didn't mean for this to be a heavy YouTube video, but it was something that needed to be said. And it was just not right for me to just not address what's going on in the world today and just ignore it and keep going on as if nothing has happened. I'm hoping all of you are able to create, design, and live the kind of life you want to live and assist yourself to make this world one in which you want your children and grandchildren to inherit. My line actually stops here. I won't have any grandchildren, but that's another video altogether. So, all of that being said, I don't want to ramble. I'm going to end this here. This is Sherry. This is Life Lessons Learned. Again, don't look for videos for the rest of this week, but I will be back next Tuesday and I will be talking about those times when I had the courage to do the right thing regardless of the possible outcomes that I had. And trust me, those outcomes weren't looking good, but that had nothing to do with me being able to do the right thing in the right moment. Thanks. I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.